Okay.
Here we go.
Go live. We're in. Hi, friends. If anybody is anybody out there, well, I hope it's working. Oh, the fun we have with technology. Hi, friends. I don't even know. Am I on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yay, I'm on. Hi, guys. Well, had a couple of tech glitches, but here we are. Hello to my babes. I am so excited to be here with you guys. Yay! Hello, my friends. Okay. Hi, guys. Oh, I'm so stoked. Welcome to Close the Loop. We are going to have a good time today, my babes. But before we get started, let's do a can you see me and can you hear me? I want to make sure we have had some issues. So I just want to make sure that you guys can see me and that everything sounds good on our end. So feel free, pop it on into the chat. Now, my friends, we're going to be interactive today. And so that's the point of this, right? When we're building a community and we're building a group of people that are coming together, I want to hear from you and I want to see what you guys are going through. So use the comment section, my friends. So drop a number in from 1 to 10 of how long you've been trying to figure out dating. I want to just take a little stock check, just trying to see where you are and where we are starting with. And I think that's something that's really important. It's hard to just take stock of where we are in the beginning of things so that we can assess when we're done with everything. So a few things before we get started. So we're going to be here for about 90 minutes. So get comfortable, get your snacks, get your Wawa, get all the things that you need. Remember, we are keeping the chat respectful. We're not spamming 1,000 times the same question. We're not going to be negative. We're not going to put people down, right? We have got to make sure, and I have to make sure that we are creating a really safe ecosystem because this matters to me as well. So that's just something super, super important. The next thing is I will open the floor for questions at the end of our conversation. So when we're done with everything, you're going to have the Q&A. Feel free. We have the team. They are assembling and they're taking all the questions that you're asking. So feel free to ask them as we go along, especially if you put for the end, right? My Q&A question. Feel free. And stay till the end. Just me on this one, right? Because we get the meat and potatoes where I get to actually interact with you guys and talk to you guys and help you guys in specific things that you're going through at the end. And so I'm super excited. Okay, before we do anything, I want to know in this room, how long have you been trying to crack dating for? How long have you been at this, trying to find someone real, breaking that same pattern, stopping the cycle of getting close and watching it fall apart, right? Has this been a few months, a few years, longer than maybe we want to admit? Baby, I have no problem admitting that was when I was in my heyday. Yeah, I was single for 5 years in between major relationships because it took me time to be able to understand the things that I needed and to understand how I was showing up and my part in things and all of those variables. So I'd like to know from you guys, where are we on the spectrum? Are we newly single? Have we been single for a while? Give me some more information and data. And I'm not going to pretend and bullshit you and say everything is totally fine and dating is perfect and amazing, because every single day I get messages from you guys and I read them, I see them, I go through them myself. The version of me that was confused and exhausted and I was wondering what the fuck was wrong with her. I understand. I get you. I see you. I hear you. And I know the pain points. That's why I think a lot of you guys are how did you know I needed to hear this or know this or read this? It's because I was that. So I am here to let you know that change is possible. Growth is possible. All of these different variables are possible, but I just need you to believe it before you might necessarily see it. So before we start anything or I say anything, let's actually name what's happening for you. So drop it in, my babies. Personally, what are you personally dealing with right now? Did you get ghosted? Which is never fun, but we also have to remember if somebody ghosts you, that says a lot about them and their emotional bandwidth and where they are. It says a lot more about them than it does about you. Are you being breadcrumbed, right? Just enough to keep you there, but not enough to actually satisfy your needs. Being love bombed, somebody coming on really fast, selling you the fucking trick and pony show before you even asked to buy a ticket, right? You're in a situationship, which, listen, good luck, Godspeed. And if we're actively acknowledging it's a situationship, then I think that there's other things that we need to talk about. Or are you on the train of I'm not ready, right? After dates that feel real and months that felt promising, you just keep getting that I'm not ready, or I'm not ready for a relationship. I thought it would be, da, da, da. Now I get it. Sometimes it's an excuse, sometimes And sometimes it really is where people are, and we have to hold space for that wherever they are on the journey. And honestly, it might be all of them, right? Like, I don't get surprised anymore. Honestly, the only thing that surprises me is all the new fucking terminology and names that people keep giving dating, like shrekking and soft ghosting and all of these things. And I'm like, or let's just call it what it is, human behavior, right? And I get it. The dating game is rigged in ways that are making it a little bit more difficult. And you're showing up and carrying wounds that nobody gave you a manual for. And I think that's the harsh reality is, a lot of people will ask and say, I don't get it. Why don't I understand how to date? It's like, well, who taught us that? Who taught you how to date? Who taught you how to show up? Who taught you how to have your needs met? Probably nobody. So, yes, some of it is environment. Some of it is that the dating apps and the way that we're meeting people and there's so many options. But I think the uncomfortable part that we might not want to sit with, and I say this because I love you and I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but I think what nobody wants to say out loud is that half the people that you're dating are terrified of doing the work. That is a reality. I say this all the time. I'll go live on TikTok and Instagram, and sometimes you'll get the trolls. You'll get these people that'll be really volatile. And I'll say, remember, those are the people in the dating field. These are the people that are not doing the work on themselves. They're not trying to understand their patterns. There's an awareness that's lacking. And I think the other half is in complete denial that they're part of the problem. And sometimes that is us, right? I don't think it's a lot. I don't think it's everybody, right? I don't think that there's just 50% of people doing this, because there is the sliver of people that are doing the work, that are trying, that are showing up, that are actively part of this. And that's where we need to say, fuck yeah. And it's like, okay, and you're doing the work and you're showing up and you're doing all this, but then how do you feel about yourself after? Because at the end of the day, I can't guarantee you that at the end of this, oh my God, you're going to go out and you're going to meet the love of your life at the grocery store. Nobody has that guarantee. But you know what I can say is that the goal about this is for all of us to be okay with ourselves, to come back home to ourselves, and to be okay that no matter what, we will be okay. I was in the second group personally for years. I was reading every book. Oh my God, I'm so excited, you guys. I don't even know. Attached, right? The book that started it all for so many of us. I have the author coming on the podcast. I can't fucking wait. Amir Levine I'm so excited because that was the first book I ever read to understand attachment styles. And I was like, wait a minute. And I was scrolling all of this content and I was ingesting all the do this, don't sleep with them until this long, don't text and do this, right? All of this conflicting information that none of us knew what the fuck it is. And to me, right, there's a difference between intellectually understanding something, like no one's stupid, you're not an idiot, but actually implementing it and making change. Those are two different things, right? That's what I want and do are two different parts of the brain. But this is me, right? That Minnie Mouse photo, that was me when I was all 18 years old. I had just gone to a friend's house. I think maybe I was 18. I didn't even turn, maybe I turned 19. I was a baby. This is when I worked at this other store. And honestly, what revolves around all of this was this girl was doing anything she could to be pretty and sexy, to get attention from other people, to be seen. Because I didn't understand my part in things. I was so unaware. And in that gap, right, the one between knowing, right, I know intellectually, and changing, that's what today is about. We're really going to talk about bridging the gap between, fine, sure, right, I understand all of these things, but how do I actually implement that? Today we're doing the fucking work. We are going to do that together. You can spend years with your cute little toes walking around in circles in the same problem and convinced it's just who you are, when all you might have needed was maybe to move a few inches into a different direction, right? I remember having my therapist kept telling me, man, it's like you're walking in the jungle and you're beating trees down to find a pathway when there's a paved road right on the other side of it. And she's like, if you just had faith that on the other side of that road was something that you could trust, then you wouldn't be struggling so hard to get through this. And that kind of changed my life. And this is the part where I need to be really, really honest with you, because I am not going to spend this entire session fucking blaming the apps and making everything an external, right? I want to make sure that we're here to understand our patterns, how we're showing up. And I don't want you to just feel good for an hour. I want you to feel good for a lot longer. Because yes, I understand the algorithms, they're not making it easy. Swipe culture is doing something to a lot of us. But I think what we need to look at is how are we showing up and what is the narrative that we are creating. That's my mission, right? But here's the thing I want you to know after years of doing work like this. The people who change their love lives, they stop waiting for the environment to get better. because it's the if this, then this, right? If this happens, then this happens, and then I'll feel great, and then I'll feel da 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 da. And it's like, no. What we're trying to say is you don't need to be ready for something to happen, because actually when we think about the nervous system, with a lot of us, right? I have ADHD, so my dopamine receptors are different, and so is my motivation. And so if I'm waiting to feel right about doing something, I'm probably never going to do it, because waiting doesn't give you motivation. Waiting just helps to prolong the inevitable. What gives us the motivation is making that conscious choice to say, I'm going to do something different, right? That's how we actually expand our capacity. It's not by feeling confident and then you do it. It's you do it and then you feel confident. So again, my mission for you, for me, and for all of us is to change the dating landscape one person at a time, because every single person who does this works makes the dating pool a little less painful, right? You are part of, I don't know if I have a clothing line. And so something that they always used to say was people vote with their dollar, right? Every dollar you spend is how people are casting a vote for what it is that they're willing to allow and accept. Well, this is you now. You are making the changes internally so that you can say, I'm no longer accepting less. I'm no longer going to be the fucking person that's texting endlessly, that is so anxious they can't sit still, that freaks out every single time someone comes close to them, right? Wherever you are in the gamut, you no longer have to live that way. But before we go on any further, let's do some breath work. I want to bring you guys into the space. I'm actually going to do a slightly different breath work than what we have here. This came to me last minute. I want to give you guys a practice that actually I do every single morning. It changed my life. And so if you're in the capacity right now where you could do this breath work, yes, please close your eyes and come into the space. And if not, and you don't feel safe and comfortable to close your eyes, please just soften your gaze. I want to meet you wherever you're at, as long as this is safe for you to do so. And so do me a favor, put your feet on the floor, or if you're laying down, right, however this feels, I want you to just take some quick stock of what's coming up in your body. Just want you to notice how it feels to be supported by the chair, the floor, the bed, wherever you're laying or sitting. Maybe you could, if you are able to do so, you put one hand on your chest, one hand on your heart. Or one hand on your chest and belly, and one hand on your... I could do this. One hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. I know body parts. And I want you to just feel the rising and falling of your breath. And I want you to just notice how your body is feeling right now. Any sensations. Any thoughts that are coming up. Let them know. We'll get to you. This isn't a priority right now. Right now, the priority is being exactly where you are. Is cultivating a safety within your own body, so that we can start to learn the differences and understand the sensations coming up for us. So many of us want to feel better, but we haven't learned how to feel. And so we're going to do something called a circular breath. And so I'm going to cue you in. And we're going to keep this continuous. And I've got my clock here, baby. I'm not letting you off the hook. And the reason that we do this is because it puts your body under stress, but it also activates the parasympathetic nervous system. That way, you can start to build your capacity and feel like even though things are happening, you're not falling apart. So the way that this works is you're going to take an inhale through your nose and an immediate exhale through your mouth. And so that's why it's called a circular breath. There's no pausing in between. And so it's going to sound like this. And so I want you to just chime in whenever you feel ready. I'm setting the clock now. I want you to start to now give me a nice... Keep that going. Nice deep inhale and an exhale through your mouth. Nice inhale and an exhale. It's okay if you start to feel a little lightheaded. It's okay if you start to feel some tingles in your body. I don't want you to stop just because you're uncomfortable. Keep going. Nice inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. You're not here forever, but you could do hard things. You can challenge yourself. You are more than 3/4 away there, baby. You don't have a lot longer. Again. Start to notice if you feel any shifts. Just really focus on that inhale and exhale. rising of your chest and a falling as you exhale. And nice last few. All right, I want now 5, 4, 3, 2. And on your last inhale, take a nice deep breath. Hold at the top. Hold it. Just hold your breath. Expand your capacity. You've got another few seconds. It's not forever. And in 3, 2, 1. Audible exhale. And I want you to just, for a second, be. Notice if you feel tingly, that's okay. I want you to just notice how your body feels putting yourself under that pressure, but then being able to bring yourself back to equilibrium. Now, normally I'd make you do 3 rounds of this, but Mama's not going to be that mean to you. And I just want you to notice any sensations that are coming up, any discomfort that might be coming up. And I want you to just tell any thoughts, we'll be there. Don't worry, we'll get to you. Right now, I get to do this for me. And I want you to notice as you say that, do you feel discomfort in your body when you say, I'm doing this for me? I don't need to be anywhere right now, but present. And I want you to just take stock. Just to note and feel anything coming up. Not trying to change anything. And maybe even identify if any emotions came up. Anything that felt uncomfortable. Just holding space for it. Now, whenever you're ready, you could flutter your eyes softly open. And even just right there, one small practice of doing this breath work and being uncomfortable. Type it into the chat. Did anybody die? I didn't think so. Probably wouldn't be typing it into the chat if you died. God forbid. But you notice how when you do something uncomfortable, you expand your capacity and then you realize, oh, that's it? Oh, I could do that. I got this. And what you're doing is you're telling your nervous system, that's okay. And I'm really proud of you for doing something. And that might have been the first time you ever did breath work, or maybe the 100th time. No matter where you are, thank you for trying. So now let's get to fucking work, shall we? So, let's get into the nitty gritty. Now that we're nice and relaxed, right? We're back to our baseline, hopefully. Even just a little bit, right? That's regulation. Regulation doesn't mean that all of a sudden you did this breath work, you come out and you're kumbaya, now you're the second coming of Jesus. What it means is that you're able to say, I sat through something uncomfortable and I didn't have to do anything about it. I was able to tap into my tools and be here so that my body and my nervous system know there's nothing wrong and I'm safe. So one of you guys actually wrote in, 3 weeks out from a breakup, fought to be loved for 2 years. I'm 39 and anxious about a future dream. And I want you to now even really just think about, even let's go back here, 2 years. 2 years spent out of 39. That's a lot, right? It doesn't sound like a lot until you realize what the first 18 of those years was filled with. So for 21 years of that time, look what that was filled with. Out of 2 of those was filled with somebody that wasn't giving you what you needed. You to beg and fight and plead to be seen, to be heard, to be validated. Some of you guys will write in things that people say to you, and it is atrocious the way that people speak to you. But you know what's even sadder? What you think is okay to allow. That if you think that's what you are worthy and deserving of, that's okay, baby. I'll meet you where you're at. But I'm here to let you know that that's most certainly not true. That you deserve a lot more than that. Or maybe this. I spent 10 years of my life in a marriage with a narcissist who was cheating on me. These are not small numbers, right? These are years of your fucking life that somebody is taking up. Someone's life is being taken by that. And time moves, baby, whether you're ready or not. You're not pausing your life when you say later. Your life is still going on, but the loop is still running. You're still finding yourself in the same patterns. You're still finding yourself in the same situations. Like my mama said on the episode I had with her, it was like chalk outlines on the bodies, right? She said, just replace it with a different person, but it was the same bullshit behavior, Sabrina. She wasn't wrong. And so now What does the next year look like for you? I want you to actually picture this, right? The same apps, same conversations that seem to go nowhere, the same fears, the same anxieties, the same constantly looping and wondering and turning to fucking ChatGPT because you have to ask a goddamn fucking computer if you're going crazy because you can't differentiate it. You're analyzing their text. You're sitting here losing sleep, can't eat, fucking taking your phone into the shower. What? Yup, that was me who got a waterproof sleeve so that I could stay on top of my text messages that people were sending me because I couldn't be 5 minutes without my fucking phone. Someone who feels great for a couple of weeks and then starts to pull back, and then all of a sudden you're saying, but I'm attacked. It's the same thing. And here's what I need you to hear. You're not destined. This is not your out. This is not what you were brought here for. I could promise you that. Waiting to feel ready is another loop, right? That is just when this, then this. Because what you're saying is I have to wait for an external, for something else to happen for me to, in order to get what it is that I deserve. And baby, nobody who changed their love life was ready when they started. I wasn't. When my ex left me a shell of a human, you think I was ready? I wasn't. But I knew in that moment I could keep doing the same shit or I could actually change my fucking life. And that feeling, it comes later. It comes after, like we talked about earlier when it comes to the neuroscience, motivation. And then we have to have the action comes and then motivation. It's not motivation and then the action. Trust me, I wish I'd be a millionaire if it was. Every single client I've watched change their life and love life, not one of them felt ready to start. Usually what it is, they were sick and tired of being sick and tired, so it was time to make a change. That's what I hear often is like, I can't keep doing this. I'm a hamster on a wheel. I have to do something different. And that to me is something that's so important because they decided not just another year of doing the same thing, it would cost them more than the discomfort of doing something else. And let me remind you what we're actually looking for here, because every situation we're about to go through, it all traces back to the same cycle, the loop. All right, let's talk about what does the loop actually look like. Everyone's going to have different minor aspects of it, but let's use our imagination. So first you have the attraction to chaos. God, it feels electric, right? Oh my God, the spark, and I haven't felt this before, and oh, I can't stop thinking about them. And when they touch me, my body shakes, and it's like a whole intoxicating. It's a drug. And boy, oh boy, is it a fun one. But then what happens, right? We get into that chaos and I need it. And then we go into that anxious pursuit. We start to do protest behavior, right? Maybe that's testing things. I feel the disconnection, so I try and I do. We start to chase. We're overthinking. We're ruminating. We're thinking of every single thing that could go wrong. And so instead of saying, whoa, wait, I had to interrupt this, right? I gotta regulate. I gotta do what I need to do. I gotta come back to the present moment. I gotta start challenging this. The loop then brings us into self-abandonment. So if I'm already worried and saying, oh, but I'm scared if I don't text them, they're not going to text me. Okay, so then let me text them. Well, it's been 3 hours since they text me and I haven't heard from them. And why haven't I heard from them? And they've been on social media and they didn't Sound familiar? As if I don't hear this every single day. And again, there's nothing wrong with you. Sometimes I say this so that you guys realize, like, you're not a snowflake. You're not like, oh, this is it. No one else experiences this, because if no one else experienced it, it would be really hard for you to change and break and move on from it. But then after the self-abandonment, when you say, well, I'll just stay quiet, right? If I don't have any needs, then they don't have to think that I have any needs. And then if I don't have any needs, they're not going to leave me. Or I just won't say anything because every time I say something and then they get upset or then they blow up and I don't want to say anything. So then what happens is you change who you are. You self-abandon to keep someone else in your life. And then what happens when it doesn't work? It crashes and burns. You feel like a shell of a human. More often than not, what we're hung up on is either the narrative of who this person was that they actually weren't, or what it means about us because it didn't work. That's a lot of the times what we get stuck up on. Then you might have some temporary healing. You'll have a couple of days where you're like, I'm fine, I'm good. I listened to the Sabrina Zohar show. And Sab yelled at me and I'm good. Until it happens again. And then it happens again and again and again and again, because we're not getting to the root of it. We're just putting band-aids going, oh, it's just not the right person. Oh, they just weren't available. Oh, is it right? There's always some kind of excuse. And that pattern becomes your drug, right? So the people, and then we replace that because your subconscious takes the wheel. This is not a conscious thing. You're not an idiot. You're not stupid. It's not like you just don't know enough. Again, if that's all this was, none of us would be here, right? None of us would be doing half the things. But what ends up happening is that this just reaffirms every single core belief and negative belief you've had about yourself and about relationships. You are then up being the passenger of your own love life, reacting to whatever shows up instead of consciously choosing and being the driver, right? That doesn't mean that you get to choose every single person in your life. I mean, you get to choose every person in your life in that regard, but that doesn't mean that you actually get to choose what they do and how they act and how this is going to pan out. And so then where do we go and how do we change it, right? That's the number one thing. How do we rewire ourselves to become someone who naturally attracts what we actually need instead of what our traumas keep choosing us? How do we actually get into a position of choosing, right? So I built a system. This one is out of years of studying data, working with clients. I mean, I work with up to 20 to 25 people a week. I've had to take less now as the days have gone on, but we're talking hundreds of people a month, plus the thousands of people on socials and millions actually, and all of these things, right? I've seen a lot. This is not my first rodeo, but it is me. So I wanted to create an environment and a system. So that's what I'm going to walk you through. There are 3 stages. They are sequential. You cannot skip ahead. You do not go and collect $200 because each one builds on the last. So the love breakthrough system. So we have 3 actual stages to understand and to comprehend if you really want to fucking start to break this loop. And so first stage, breakthrough within. We have to understand us first. Then we go into stage 2, which is secure dating blueprint, right? What is it that we're looking for? And then the stage 3, how do I go from attraction to commitment? Now that I know what it is that I want and need, how do I actually go get it? So stage 1. The first thing that we need to do is break through from within, right? We got to move from that anxious and desperate, I need it, into a grounded, secure, I'd want it, but I'm not going to lose myself in trying to get it, right? The biggest fucking gift I gave to myself was learning how to emotionally regulate. That was the number one thing I could have ever done for myself, was learning the power of the pause and learning how to regulate and be really uncomfortable in my body. So in this stage, we have to start to understand and what, right? So if we're zooming out and we're starting to look and say, okay, what is it that I need to do in this first stage of understanding myself? First, why you love the way you love. Who taught you? Where did I learn this from? What are the experiences and the aspects that I'm bringing into the scenarios that I learned about love? That's why when people say, well, you need to be a dating coach, it's like, yeah, because ain't nobody fucking taught us. Your nervous system and why chaos feels like chemistry. Does this feel familiar? You gotta remember, your brain will always default to what is the most familiar, not what is better for you. Your brain don't give a fuck, right? It does not care. It cares about, is this fast? Is this quick? And can I save energy doing it? Am I going to be safe? And so often we have to look at our nervous system and understand what causes my triggers, what causes me to get dysregulated. Am I going from 0 to 100 because this person made a simple comment? What is coming up for me that is beyond? Maybe this person's being disrespectful, I don't know. Or maybe I'm projecting a past experience onto them and my nervous system is getting dysregulated, right? We say self-sabotage. The reason I use that is just because I think, argument's sake, you guys understand what that means. If I said self-protection, you'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But those protective patterns that are running in the background, right? We had Dick Schwartz on the podcast. If anyone listened, I think it was episode 151, if I'm not mistaken. Still got it. And we talk about parts, right? So you've got all these different parts and the littles and all of these different variables. So who are those protector parts? What are they trying to protect you from, right? And then also, how do we become an earned secure? What does that actually look like, right? So what work are we doing on ourselves? How are we starting to implement new material? Are we learning new tools? Are we thought interrupting? Are we implementing some of the regulation techniques, right? This is a skill. And so through this first stage, right, we have to look and say, where did I come from? What am I actually what am I doing? How am I trying to protect myself? What are the behaviors I do? And then now, how can I learn to trust myself through consistent daily action, even if that just means validating my emotions and feelings? Something as simple as that. Even if that's something as simple as expressing and saying no. That is self-trust. That is self-love. Even saying, I'm going to take a minute so I can actually understand what's coming up for me. I don't want to be reactive. I would like to respond. Right there. That's loving yourself. And that is coming from a more secure place. So first you have to understand, why do you love the way you love? If your childhood programmed your patterns, you'll keep choosing the same person in different bodies. I learned this love from my dad. I learned that love is not safe, that love has to be earned, love is conditional. And then I learned from my mom, shut your fucking mouth and don't say a goddamn word because you don't want to lose that. So you take what you could get. You don't get to actually have an opportunity. You don't get to set a boundary. Girl, who are you? You shut your fucking mouth. You take it. Now, maybe you came from a household where you had great parents, but they were emotionally unavailable. Maybe you came from a household where one of your parents was working all the time and you never knew if they were going to come back. Whatever it is, it doesn't mean that you had big T's. It doesn't have to mean that you had terribly abusive parents, but maybe you had parents that couldn't attune to your needs. And that's something that's important. Who taught you this, right? Your nervous system is going to raise chaos as chemistry. Anxiety is the spark. That's why I always say, like, it's actually just blood rushing to your phalanges so that you could run. But oftentimes we give it way more credit than it actually deserves. Inconsistency is seen as exciting. The more hot and cold. Have you ever heard of the term intermittent reinforcement? So intermittent reinforcement was a study done on pigeons where they gave them pellets, but they gave them consistency. And then the pigeons would come, they'd eat, sometimes they wouldn't. But when the pigeons didn't know when their next meal was coming, when the pellets were going to come, they started to grow manic and anxious, and they were freaking out. And they were constantly pressing the buttons because that's how our brain works. When somebody's giving you all these little bullshit breadcrumbs, your brain is processing that as, oh my God, this is exciting, we have to win this. And that's why calm is boring, right? What do you mean you like me? That goes against my core beliefs. Nobody likes me. People don't like me. People don't choose me. You see how this pattern starts to get replayed? This is programming. And the self-sabotage, again, the self-protection that you don't notice as you start to overfunction, you'll do everything for them, right? You're testing. That's what the protest behavior of, like, I had a client of mine, the girl after the 15th time said, you know what? I think we should break up. And he finally went, I think you're right. And she freaked out. What? But that's protest behavior. That's testing somebody. You don't test somebody by saying, I think we should break up. I used to do that. I did. And my ex finally one day went, okay, fine, you're right. Needless to say, that's not the ending I wanted. You'll overperform. You're not actually being yourself. You're trying to be something you think this person wants you to be, but that's not who you are. And then you end up pushing away when it feels real because you're like, this is boring. I just can't put my I hear this all the time. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know. Just something's off. I don't know 100% what, but I can't put my finger on it. Well, if you can't, I don't think anybody else can. So after we do all of this, right, stage one, the reason it's so important is because we need to understand where we're coming from so that we can say, I can see the pattern, right? I understand why I chase intensity. I can see I'm getting in my own way. And shit, I actually feel safer. I do feel calmer because I'm no longer waiting for someone else to come in and save me. And that was the reality I had to make. I had to lose everything in order to realize who I was and gain everything, to come back home to myself, to get this courage in my body and in my blood so that I could come back out swinging. But I could never have done that until I understood that loss is okay. I'm allowed to disappoint people. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. But I had to look at where did I learn this from before I could implement anything else and start to say, but I do trust myself. Which then brings us into stage two, right? So we have stage one, understanding where you come from. That is the first step. Where did I learn this from? So for anybody that is trying to change, that's the first step that you got to do. You don't have to do anything, but you know what I'm saying. Then we go into step two, which is now understanding what does a secure dating blueprint look like, right? So that means we're choosing better partners, we're dating in a secure way, we're more grounded. So in stage two, we have to start to learn to spot your person early or not, right? The green flags versus the performative red flags. And to me, I see that as like, especially onto the like, no, but they're just being that, right? If we can show so much understanding to everybody else, but yet we can't hold them accountable. What are signs of somebody who's emotionally available? Are they actually able to sit with you through the discomfort? Are they able to have hard conversations? Are they able to hold space for your emotions? What actually matters in the first 1 to 3 dates? Are you asking important questions? Are you getting curious? Are you starting to question things that you're seeing? Are you sitting with yourself? Or are you so hyper-focused that you're looking to see why they haven't texted you in the last 27 minutes, but they're on social media? Why aren't they texting me every single day? Where are they? But they used to text me all the time, and now they don't text me. And I notice that there's 3 hours in between every text. It's a story that you know, so don't even try to bullshit me. Or second, I don't think they like me. I don't think they want to be with me. I don't think they're into me. Oh, how long is it going to take? Everything is this urgency. And the whole goal here is to get rid of the urgency and be able to say, but I actually want to see this clearly for what it is. So, talk to me. What roles have you played? Have you been the cool friend that like has no needs? Oh my God, don't worry about it. Whatever. Everything is no worries. Totally. Absolutely. Yeah, whatever you want to do. I don't care. I'm down to do whatever you want to do. Are you the therapist that you're leaving almost more depleted because you're sitting there holding so much space? I have a friend like that. She's not a friend anymore. But I realized at the end, I was like, man, you just call me so that you can talk for a solid hour. You ask me for 3 minutes how I'm doing, and then you go right back to talking about you. Wherever it's just revolving around them. Are you the rescuer who your friend's a hot fucking mess? Maybe it's not even just a friend, right? Maybe it's also in your relationships. They're a hot fucking mess, but you think, I can do this. I got this. Oh my God, I can save them. If they just let me in a little bit more, I can pay for things and I can do this and I'll make the appointments and I'll do the bookings, right? You're the one that's the rescuer. You're trying to do anything that you can to come in and rescue them from this. Are you being the parent? Are you parentifying where you have to teach this person like, hey, so what you said was really fucking hurtful. Am I your parent or are you our actual partner to me? Are you cleaning up after them, doing all this without, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine? Or are you the trophy who just doesn't say a fucking word? You're just there. You're just there to look pretty and be cute. You don't have to perform to be loved. And if nobody ever told you that, I'm going to be here to tell you that. And I'm curious to see which version of you is showing up, especially whether they be. And notice if you're saying, well, it's just in my friendships, probably also in your dating life as well. Probably. You don't have to perform to be loved, baby. So secure dating in practice means that we are pacing intimacy without playing games. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to wait a certain amount of times to be intimate with somebody. That means that you are determining what works for you without it being a game. Or texting without the anxiety and all the rules and all that bullshit. You're texting because you got a text and you're going to respond back. You're staying grounded when you really like them, which is so important to look at, right? Where secure dating means that I'm good with them or I'm good without. Well, I was good before them, I'll be good after. And after step 2, right? So once we understand what's the first stage, we got to understand where did I learn this from? What's coming out for me? What are the patterns I'm showing? How can I start to break those patterns, right? What is the work that I'm doing to start changing the way I show up and how I answer and all of those aspects? Then stage 2 is an understanding, okay, what is it that I want out of this partner? What is it that I need in a partner? What is it that I'm looking for? Yada, yada, right? I don't have to chase anymore. I know how to recognize the right person. I'm not scared of feeling calm. I don't need the spark. I don't have to perform to be loved. You can date without totally fucking spiraling. And now we can start to go, instead of did they choose me, this is what I want you to start to do. I want you to start to filter things in a different way. And I want you to write this down. Whenever you're spiraling about someone, before you do anything, ask yourself these 3 questions. 1, in the last 2 weeks, have they initiated contact without me prompting? Or is this just you that you're carrying along? You can put it in the chat if you guys want to engage. I'd love that. When I've expressed something I need, even small, did they acknowledge it? Did they say, hey, thank you so much for letting me know. I really appreciate that. Or were they like, wow, fuck, something else, huh? Or like, I don't want to talk about this. I'm not in the mood right now. You always have a fucking issue. Are they dismissing it of like, well, you're just too sensitive. You don't know how to take a fucking joke. And do you feel more like yourself around them or less? Do you feel like you could be as unapologetically yourself as ever and you could literally say anything and this person won't judge you? Or do you feel like no matter what, this person's constantly judging, watching, you have to perform, bend, shift, and all of those things? 2 or more no's is data worth sitting with, right? That's why we do this, because anxious people can't always tell the difference between I'm scared because something's actually wrong versus I'm scared because I really like this person. So this will help you start to understand the difference between the two so that you can have a tool that you could start to tap into immediately. So now, this is my process, right? We have stage 1, stage 2, and now we are into stage 3. So this is from attraction to commitment. So now we have to build a relationship that lasts without actually fucking losing yourself. And that's the most important part. So we have to look and say the conversations that build commitment is the what are we conversation without pressure. And so what that means is we are talking about how you feel. Hey, we've been seeing each other for 3 weeks and I really like you. I'd love to stop dating other people. How do you feel? That's what we're looking for. Is how do you have these conversations, right? How does commitment actually form? When and how do you bring up these future conversations? The communication that creates safely is someone that's expressing their needs securely, right? How do people that are secure argue? They hold space for each other and they don't start cursing and screaming and calling each other. They don't put each other down by their personality. And that's something that's really important. They avoid the protest behaviors and the shutdown cycles because they're staying super fucking present. Even when they're flooded, they could say, listen, I need to go outside for a walk for 5 minutes. Can I come back to you? Or I'm getting really overwhelmed. Do you mind if we talk about this in an hour? I just need a minute. Or, hey, something's really bothering me and I'd like to share this with you. What ruins healthy relationships is testing and pushing away when feels good. That's going to, because what happens? Intermittent reinforcement. Now you don't trust that person. Testing back and forth and back and forth. It's like that person doesn't trust you. Recreating childhood dynamics. Are you projecting onto them? Projecting what you wanted this to be or what you think it's going to be based on what you've experienced. Self-sabotage. Again, we're using the self-protection when you finally have what you want. Because again, now I got to blow it out myself because if I do it, I'm in control. If If you want to make it last, you got to stay secure in the relationship. Again, this doesn't mean that like you give unwavering trust to somebody else, but you feel secure that no matter what, you'll be okay, whether it's with this person or not, and that you trust the connection you have. You're choosing yourself while you're also choosing your partner. Every single day, that's what me and Tech I do. We come together because we're both making a conscious choice to say, I choose you, you choose me. And you're building long-term compatibility that way. And it's really beautiful. And that's the point of this, is like, how do we shift from do they choose me to do I choose them? What are the questions? How present am I staying? Am I getting curious? How do I feel when I'm with their friends or family, right? How do I feel in different dynamics? So after step 3, you can say, I know how to move towards commitment naturally. I can communicate without fighting or fawning. I stop running and ruining the things I actually want and running from the things I actually want. And I can keep a healthy relationship, not just start one. So, how are you feeling right now? Tell me. I just gave you the exact process, right? That is the literal process that I use, whether that would be clients. But I want to know, one word, whatever is true for you. Do you feel motivated, jazzed, scared, worried, happy? Not. I want to know how you're feeling. And now, for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to guide you through a practice that might feel uncomfortable, but it's usually a sign that it's working. So, if you're okay with it, this is why I'm saying. So part of me is like, it's big about somatic. This isn't just intellectualizing. It's not just about like, oh, well, now I understand it. It's like, no, now it's about feeling it. And for anybody that stayed from the beginning, fuck yeah. And for anybody that hops out, no worries. This is why your life isn't going to change. And that's okay. I'll say what the other people are fucking scared of saying. The reason your life won't change is because look what you're willing to, look how quickly you want it to happen, baby. Life isn't fucking Amazon. So close your eyes if you're okay with it. Do me a favor, lighten your gaze or close your eyes. Put your feet on the floor. Put your hand on your chest, one on your heart. And I want you to bring to mind a specific moment. I want you to really think about the last time you sat there waiting for a text that maybe didn't come. Or the moment someone told you they weren't ready, you got that text, you're like, God damn it, what the fuck? Or the night you realized you'd be giving everything to someone who wasn't giving it back to you. Just think about that. No judgment. It's not about judgment or shame. This isn't about that. It's about really sitting with yourself and being really honest with yourself about how you felt in those moments. And I want you to just let yourself be there. I want you to start to notice, where do you feel it? You feel it in your body? Do you feel it in your chest, in your throat, in your stomach? I want you to sit with it. Again, this is how you sit with an uncomfortable emotion. You're not judging it. You're not any of that. You're just sitting with it for about 10 seconds. You're just allowing the space. You're not adding a narrative to it, but you are allowing the emotion. And maybe you can notice sad, happy, scared, worried, fearful. It's okay. You're fucking human. And I want you to now notice, after you've sat with this feeling, you notice that you're okay. That right now, even though it feels overwhelming, doesn't mean that there's any tiger that you need to fight. Doesn't mean that there's any urgency. You're in the safe space right now because you're with you and you have someone like me that's safe, hopefully, to you in this room. And that moment you just remembered, it lives in the past and it stays there. But now you get to decide, who do you want to become? Who's the person that you're working towards? What are you trying to become? I want you to just take stock of that. And maybe even think about how shitty that time felt. And if we can reframe, how happy you are to not have to deal with that anymore. And I want you to keep your eyes closed. And I want you to fast forward to the version of your life where the work is done, where the loop is broken. Get really clear. How does that look? What does your life look like? Where are you? What does your day feel like? Do you wake up just feeling relaxed? You don't have to worry if somebody's into you or not because you trust that no matter what, you'll be okay. Maybe you've met this person. Who's next to you, right? What kind of person are they? How do they make you feel when they walk into the room? Electric? Alive? Excited? hopeful, seen? And how do you feel in your own body? Are you relaxed? Are you yourself? Do you feel a little bit more back to baseline? Just take stock of how you're feeling. And notice the difference. Notice the difference between the, oh my God, I can't sit still, I'm not going to be okay, where are they? And the, wait a minute, this is what I deserve. Someone that doesn't make me guess. Someone that sits and has hard conversations with me, unlike anybody I've ever experienced. And I want you to take a nice deep breath. And I want you to remember the person that you saw that felt the sadness and all of those emotions. We still love them because they were doing the best you can. When you're ready, you can flutter your eyes open and come back in the space. And just notice your body. Notice if you feel any different. This is the work. This is what I mean. You're not going to feel any different unless you feel. And I want you to drop a word in the chat. Just one. What did you feel in the visualization? How did you feel in that? Are you feeling more motivated? Was it scary? Was it exciting? I'm here for it. I want to know. Because at some point, you're going to have to decide. You can keep reacting to whatever the environment throws your way. Sure, absolutely. Or do you become someone who deliberately builds something different around themselves? Are you going to be the person that says, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired and now I get to make a change? Fuck yeah. I'm stoked if that's the case. So, what I'm about to show you is not for everyone. This is for the person who is done waiting, done trying to figure this out alone, done with another year of the same loop. And if that's you, stay with me for the next 15 minutes because I'm so excited. Now, this is what I was going to say, right? You got my program. You got my thing. That's the exact 3 stages. You know the 3 stages to go through. But if you want to do more, a little over a week ago, I opened enrollment for my live program. It's the Love Breakthrough. So the framework we just walked you through, we get to do that together. Now, if you're telling me, baby, I'm good, I'm happy as a clam, I know what I'm doing, no worries. You got your workbook and you can fuck off and live in the world. And I'm so stoked for you and congratulations and good luck, Godspeed. And we love you. Let's do the Q&A at the end. But if not, and you're excited to go in a little bit deeper, I have been getting messages like this every single day. Where do I sign up? Oh my God, I missed the enrollment. Can I join? Did you start the new program? Because you guys were asking for support. And that's what I want to give you. Again, you don't need it? That's fine. But if you need it, that's why we're here. I want you to know you didn't end up in here by accident. Something brought you here. Maybe you're exhausted from doing the same thing. Maybe you felt like, what about the... I apologize. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Maybe you're just starting to look and say, I want to be able to do something different. And it's interesting, you guys. I know that you guys are feeling like, I see some comments that you guys are frustrated with my voice when I go into a meditation. Now, here's the reality. Not everything's going to be how you fucking like it. And that's the thing. When we're going into a meditation, it's important to be in a calmer, more relaxed space so that your body can understand what safety feels like. And so I'm just sharing this message that part of this work is understanding that we are nuanced creatures that need different things. And that's okay. And if it's a little softer and a little quieter, maybe that's what your nervous system is actually asking for right now because you've been so go, 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 you haven't stopped to fucking breathe. Don't worry. I see what you guys are talking about. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm here for it. I'll meet you where you're at. But you're here for a reason. And maybe that's the reason that your nervous system needs to learn that something else is possible and something else is out there. So, the Love Breakthrough Program. I'm excited. It's a complete ecosystem to close the loop if you need it. If you love your therapist and you love them, great. Awesome. Go do it with them. But if not, I got you. So you get support, you get community, and you get tools. You get everything working together to actually make the changes in your life, which is what you need. Something that takes you from A to B in a way that works for your nervous system, that makes you into someone who naturally attracts the right person. That's why I was saying it's important, right? Part of this program is that you also get modalities and things that you can actually implement. You know why meditation was so hard for me when I first started? Because I didn't slow the fuck down. I was so uncomfortable with anything. I need now. You need to give it to me now. I need the urgency. I need to know. You know how that goes in dating? Not very well. Because that freaks people out. That makes other people's nervous system feel dysregulated. And so that's why I created a 12-week program that's 3 phases. Break the loop, do the inner work, date more securely so you stop chasing and start choosing, and make it last. You don't blow up the good shit. That's the whole point of this. So let's walk through a breakthrough of what each month has. And again, like I said, you want to do this on your own? Fuck yeah. But let's talk about what you get in this and what the rubric is. So the first month moves you from anxious to grounded. And we figure out what is your repeating pattern, right? You might feel super anxious and desperate and love only happens to you, but who am I and I don't deserve it. And you keep choosing the same person in a different body. And so that's why the first month is so important. So in week 1, we got to look at why you love the way you love. What's that subconscious programming? The childhood imprinting and attachment templates. Why do you keep choosing the same person in different bodies? Where did I learn this from? How old do I feel? What's coming up for me? Starting to explore that, unravel the pattern a little bit more so that we can understand it in a different way. The first week is just an awareness of like, holy shit. Right? Even my client today, I said that and he was like, oh my God, I never put 2 and 2. He's been in therapy for 6 years. And he's like, I never put 2 and 2 together that that's how my mom was. And I was like, that's okay, right? It wasn't obvious. But to me it was, because I know what I'm looking for and I know how to spot that shit because it's so subtle, so much more subtle than you'd ever imagine. Then week 2, nervous system. The nervous system is huge. That's why so many things feel uncomfortable. That's why we are attracted to the chaos and we want, because anxiety feels like chemistry. And then we trauma bond or we intermittent reinforcement. And oftentimes this is where calm people can feel boring. Is because we have to rewire our nervous system. What are your tools? What are you doing to actually be able to rewire your nervous system so that your nervous system can say, wait, I do feel safe. I am okay. I got this. There's no threat. And that's really important. Then week 3, we go into, again, self-sabotage, the self-protection parts, right? Am I over-functioning? Are you testing? Are you withdrawing? Are you people-pleasing? What is your drug of choice, if you will? Are you pushing good people away when it feels too real that this is overwhelming, so I have to find an issue? Are you performing instead of being yourself? We have to start to look, what are those parts? Where did I learn that from? What do you think they're protecting you from? How can we start to get a little bit deeper to understand why is our nervous system, how is our nervous system, and what is our nervous system doing to show up in a different way? And then we go into week 4, which is really going into that becoming more earned secure. And of course, this isn't going to happen overnight. This is a practice that you implement and you do, but we have to learn how to shift from pick me to I choose. Building that safe self-trust, that internal safety, because even just now, right, when we did the breath work and I said, did you die? No, you built internal safety. You did 1 iota closer to where, instead of where you were, to where you want to go. And we understand regulation that sticks, tapping into tools that work, creating a toolbox you can come back to. That's the whole entire month 1, is really understanding where did I learn this from and where I'm going, and what is it that, how do I want to be different? How do I want to act different? How do I want to show up differently? Not your personality, but maybe our coping mechanisms. So then we go into month 2. So now we're creating our secure dating blueprint. This is literally what I do with my clients. When we work one-on-one, I'm like, we have to learn where we learned this from, really rewire that. Then we can move into, okay, so what is it that you want? What is it that you need, right? You've done this inner work. You've met someone and make really great. Now you're terrified, right? What if I do something wrong? What if I break this? This is that glimpse of happiness feels so fragile that a lot of people give up right here. And they'll start to freak out of like, fuck, am I doing this? I don't want to lose this. And we start to go into the perform. Then go back to that loop, right? We start to go into the, I'm going to overperform and chase and do all of these things. So week 5, we really start to go choosing versus chasing. Ending the anxious pursuit of do they choose me versus do I want this? It's really a traction reset towards an emotionally available partner, as opposed to getting turned off from somebody that's emotionally available because we don't know what to do with that. And that's okay. I was her, right? But we really want to go into, am I choosing this? Does this work for me? Do I like this? How do I feel when I'm with this person? Is this alignment with my ultimate goal of where it is that I want to be? Then we go into week 6, where you get to spot your person early. You'll start to understand the signs of emotional availability, the green flags versus those performing red flags away, and just constantly being like, oh, but they bought me something. And what actually matters, what questions we're asking, how are we showing up, and what are we doing that's different to get a different result, right? You can't expect to do the same thing. I know that's the definition of insanity. It's like, that's also trauma. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So that's what we spend some time on in week 6 so that you can actually spot this person early. Then week 7, we go into the roles that you play, right? Am I being the cool friend? What do I show up as? Am I the therapist? Am I the rescuer? Am I constantly putting people on pedestals? Am I betting on potential? Am I overcompensating and auditioning, trying to prove my worth? Or am I dating as myself instead of as a persona? Right? What is the role that I play? That was huge for me to try to understand, like, man, you just think that you can fix everybody. I was the rescuer and the therapist. And I thought I used to joke around and say to guys, like, just fuck me and feed me. That's all I need. And it's like, no, I have a lot more needs than that. And let me list them off to you, because it's not what matters to me. But that's what I was taught, is if you're just pretty and you're just low maintenance, everyone's going to keep you. That's not true. You'll just get picked over real fucking quick. Then in week 8, secure dating. What does it actually look like? Again, the pacing intimacy. Intimacy can be emotional intimacy. It's not just physical. How are we pacing what we're sharing with people? Are we texting with all these fucking rules? Or are you staying grounded when you really like somebody? How are you able to show up? Are we showing up any differently? It's so important to start to get curious about that, because this is where we start to say, okay, this is where if you guys listen to the podcast, I've talked about the guy that I talked about in the beginning of this workshop was the one that was the conventionally handsome one that when he touched me, I was electric. And I really had to learn, what does it feel like to be secure that if I don't hear from this person, then I'm okay, that my life doesn't end, that I will be, no matter what, I'll be fine. This is where we start to learn, what does security actually look like when you're dating? Then we move into month 3, right? We go from attraction to commitment. Month 3 is about building a relationship without losing yourself. You're in it and it's real. And this is where we start to get tested. Even if it's the first couple of months, could be up into month 3 of a relationship, that plateau. Is the spark still there? The honeymoon phase, where are we? Where is this going? That's where a lot of people panic, because they want to either play cool and be in a situationship, but I don't want to say anything, or everything is like, where is it? Where? I need the answer. Instead, we want to find a balance here. So week 9 is the conversations that build the commitment. The what are we without the pressure, how commitment actually forms, bringing up future direction without some kind of panic, right? Having the conversations from a place of empowerment and not from scarcity and from fear. And so we want to start to say, how am I showing up and what am I doing that is changing the dance steps as well? Then we go into week 10, communication, right? Communication is huge. Are we creating a safe space? Do I feel safe with this person? Am I expressing my needs without it becoming a fucking argument because I'm actually speaking differently? Am I avoiding the protest behaviors and the shutdown? How do secure people have disagreements and validate each other's emotions and feelings? How can I stay present even when I'm flooded? It's important, because communication regulation and repair is what's important, not just the communication. Then we go into week 11, what ruins healthy relationships, right? Is the ambivalence, the testing? Are we recreating those childhood core dynamics in a healthier relationship? And am I self-sabotaging when things feel good? Is my protector part coming out and being like, oh my God, alert the media, run, 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 when actually it should be saying, no, stay. It's okay, stay. Be a little uncomfortable. Let's start to get curious about what have we always done that maybe we don't want to do anymore. And that's the thing, you wouldn't be here if you were having super healthy relationships consistently, and that's okay. So now we need to get into, how do I actually keep that? And then last week, how do I make it work? How do I make it last? What about this long-term compatibility? How do I stay secure inside this relationship? And how do I choose myself while choosing partnership? That's what me and Ryan do every single day, is we choose each other, because we're also choosing the relationship. But I ultimately choose myself when I go and speak to him and I communicate, because I can't lose myself in that process. So it's so important to be able to say, I can stay with me and not be scared about losing the we. Ooh, we just came up with that. Not like it's groundbreaking, but yay. So it's 12 weeks, it's 3 phases, right? Where you finally see the pattern, you don't chase anymore, and you can have a healthy relationship, keep it, not just start one. Could you imagine living like that? Like meaning it when you're like, whether they stay or not, I'm good. That's what this gives you. That's what also gives you the fuel and the motivation and the everything you need to go out there, because you know that you have you. And that's not even everything. That's the fun part. So this is the only program that I have available where you get direct access to me, because you get live bi-weekly group coaching calls where I actually sit with you with your situation. So there's only 12 of, there's more than that. Well, there'll probably be about 20 to 30 group coaching. So obviously, depending on how many folks we have, we're not making this big. I didn't want millions of people. That's not the point of this. But we are going to be doing some live hot seat coaching. I was going to say live group coaching, live hot seat coaching to help you understand and to challenge in the moment. So you're like, oh, I see what she's saying, right? And you get 12 in-depth video training modules. So it's the complete love breakthrough system, all 3 stages broken down step by step with workbooks and practical exercises and all the stuff that you're going to possibly need. But I also have special guests. So on top of the live group coaching calls with me, you're getting 3 bonus group calls with people I genuinely respect and specifically chose for what we're working through. The first one is Nicole. I chose Nicole Vignola. She's a neuroscientist, best-selling author. And the reason I chose her is because I wanted her to help us understand where we came from and how we learned this. How did we program? How is the wiring? What is coming up for us? So that's why Nicole is week 1 or month 1. Then Dr. Chris Lee is month 2. He is probably one of my favorite humans on the planet. I fucking love him. He was on all of these people were on the podcast. So you can hear more of them, but this is a private, intimate conversation where we're going to take your questions and we're going to answer them together so that you can actually learn and implement this in the ways that you need. This is direct access to them as well that they don't normally do. And so Chris is going to help us understand where we are right now, right? What are we doing? What are we feeling? What's coming up for us? And then we have Dr. Scott Lyons, who is a very dear friend, an incredible therapist and psychologist and author, and he's going to help us understand the trauma in the body and where we want to go. Now, I might have them in different order. I haven't decided yet. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm wondering if maybe I'll have Scott month 1, but regardless of it, these are your 3 guests that you're also going to get that are going to be doing a lot of the stuff with me and just giving you more material. So, transformation is lonely when you're doing it alone. That's why you also get access to our private community. I don't offer this. I don't have this out there. And this is the number one thing that you guys have been begging me for. People who are in it with you. They're going through the same stages. They're celebrating the same wins. They're understanding what it feels like to finally feel clearer. And you've got a community. Community is huge. Community saved me. I have shared the story in the podcast that when I was in my Narcissist Anonymous group and I finally had someone say, "Oh, honey, that's not okay," it changed my fucking life. And I would go and I would be with other people because I needed to feel less alone. That's why I started creating content. I thought I was alone and there was no one else out there like me until I met you guys and found out there were. That we're all in this together. So everything you get 12 training modules and workbooks. You get 6 live coaching calls with me, group calls with everybody, 3 expert masterclasses that are tailored for our specific needs, a private community support. You get guided meditations and nervous system tools. I'm going to give you oodles of them, and a complete secure dating blueprint. So we start March 9th. I'm so excited. So here's how you join. I created 2 ways to be part of this because I know not everyone needs the same things, and I'm very conscious of that. So the standard track, everything you need, you get the 12-week curriculum, the live group coaching calls, the private community, the scripts, the workbooks, the regulation techniques, right? So that's the standard track. That's all you need, baby. Fuck yeah. We wanted to offer some different things. There's also the VIP though. Everything in standard, plus you get closer to me. So that's only for 10 people. We are not opening this up to a ton of people. I believe now we had 4 when I started, and I was just alerted we have 2 spots left. So that's how quickly this shit happens, and I'm fucking stoked. You get a private VIP coaching call or coaching group just with me. So it's with you and 10 other people. That's it. 9 other people actually, because it's you plus 9. You get priority hot seat in every session. So anytime we do the session, so in our VIP, every single person will get the hot seat coaching with me private, like one-on-one with whoever's in there, because there's only 10 of us. And you get extended 12-month access to all materials. So you get even more work so that we can really work through what you're coming up with. And some weeks might be different. Maybe everybody comes up and shares something. Maybe one week somebody needs a little bit more time. And that's the point of having a very separate VIP group where you get tailored interactions. And one more thing I'm adding. Every single week of the program, you'll receive a meditation that you can use for that week, and it's guided. It's recorded specifically for what we're going through. So it might be a walking meditation, might be something to help when you're feeling super dysregulated, whatever that is, right? And I'm tailoring it so that you have something, because that's what I do. Every single day, me and Tech, I do a meditation for the week, and it really helps so that we could build our capacity and become a little bit more aware in the moments and have what you need. So you can go through every single thing that you need to sit through the discomfort, rebuild your self-trust, staying grounded. Maybe it's a visualization, whatever it is. I'm going to use my discretion as to what I think that works. These meditations don't disappear when the 12 weeks ends. Those stay with you. So on the day something triggers you, you have a text, a situation, something that feels like, oh my God, I thought I was past this. You've got a support system you could go to. Because that's what I mean. It's building your toolbox and your capacity so that you can also handle this on yourself. Typically, programs like this, we're not charging any crazy rates. I'm not doing this. I paid $8,000 when I first started doing all this for a 3-month program mastermind. I have a friend that charges $250K for 3 months to work with them, which is fucking insane. I can't, to me it's unethical. I've been there. So I wanted to make this accessible. So we've got early bird. Early bird right now is going up. Well, I'm not after this. If you don't do it now, that's fine, baby. You don't have to, but it will go up. We're not joking around that. We actually do increase the price if that's not something you want to do right now. That's okay. But we reward if you come in early. There are payment plans available, so don't worry. We got you, baby. Or the VIP, you can go into the VIP. Again, we're only allowing 10 people. So that's why it's something that's more exclusive. You get the priority hot seats in every session when we have our groups, and you have extended access to all of your materials, which is so exciting. So now you have your options. You have payment plans, you have Klarna, you have Afterpay. You can work in Europe, Canada, the US. We can split it up into 6 months. So if you are not accessible right now, don't worry about it. Here's how it works. When you go to the checkout page, you choose how you want to pay. You click, you get redirected, and it walks you through every step. You also have the WhatsApp group, which is our support right now, that if you need anything, they're there for you. In a second, my team is going to drop the link in the chat. It's a support link is going in. So if you need it to, if you have any questions, that's what I was saying. The team is here. Click on it, baby. Secure your spot. It is time. And this was 4 spots left. We actually only have 2. And that's why we're making it application based. But they just alerted me, the team, that we had 2 more people close while I was on this call. So this is why I wanted to make it an application, because we're going to be working closely and I don't just want anybody to be able to access it. And that's really important. So on the website, you'll see a button, apply for VIP. It takes you about 3 minutes, not even. Those will help us understand where you're at and whether this is the right step for you, because I don't want to waste your resources at all. So my team personally reaches out to everyone who fills it in. And so here's what I need from you once we do it. Respond within 24 hours, right? So if you fill out this form and you respond within 24 hours, check your email, check your WhatsApp group. If we reach out and we don't hear it, the spot goes to the next person. That happened earlier. Somebody said, I didn't have my call. It's like she didn't confirm it. They reached out to her 6 times, never heard back. She lost the spot. And that's okay, right? That happens. That's totally fine. But it's only fair to the people that are here, ready, willing, want to sign up, that they get that priority. Because if you want to do the work, then let's fucking go. I'm here for you. And if you're thinking, I'm not ready, that's okay, baby. But later has been the plan for a long time, hasn't it? So let's actually look at where later tends to lead us in their life. And maybe it means later in real life. But where are you right now? So I want you to think about the last relationship or situationship that hurt you. From the moment you met to the moment you fully let go. How long did that take you? 6 months? A year? 2 years? For most people, it's 12 to 18 months. That's usually what we see. It's meeting, it's hoping, it's trying, it's waiting, it's recovering, right? All of those things. And so I think it's really important to go, how long have I spent versus how long do I want to spend? And it never feels like 5 years, right? It's always just like, it's one more person. Maybe this one will be different, until one day you realize, holy shit, I've been doing the same thing over and over and over again. So how many more years are you going to run this loop? That's my question to you. Yeah. So if you already know you want another year of the same, if you don't want another year of the same cycle, the link is in the chat. Let's fucking go. I've never done a cohort like this. That's why I was offering. I've never done anything like this that's live interactive with me. It's just pre-recorded. So that's why it's so exciting. And I'm really excited to see, and I hope you guys join. The link is in the chat if you want to join. So now let's get to Q&A. Let's go. All right, here we go. Hey, Sab and team. Is the program helpful for someone already in a long-term relationship, 2.5 years? I would say, in full transparency, I don't know that this program makes sense if you are in a relationship, because a good portion of month 2 and 3 is about how to get into that and how to do that and all of that. Now, I will say we are going to create support for people that are in relationships. So if that's something that you want, 100%, but I don't know that this specific course would make sense for you if you're actually in a relationship right now. But can you? 100%. I think if you're 2.5 years in, now here's the thing. If you're 2.5 years in and you're not happy with your relationship and you're saying that you want something else, 100%. But I think if you're like super happy with your partner and everything's amazing and great, I would then say, I don't know what you need it for. Okay. What if I just want to heal, not be in a relationship? Come on in, baby. The whole point of this isn't that there's no end game. It's not like you have to do this so that you're ending up in a relationship. The whole reason that we do this is so that you have the tools and the things so that you can come home to yourself. Right? All right. How do you stop hoping for reconnection after a breakup when you understand the reasons logically, but still feel emotionally attached? Typical anxious me, avoidant her in relationship. So the first thing is you got to let go of these fucking narratives of the anxious and the avoidant. So like, here's the thing. You're so aware about your anxious and your avoidant and her avoidance, but yet not about hoping for reconnection after a breakup, not about the reality of why it didn't work. So this is also what I mean by breaking the loop of just hoping and praying that someone's going to choose you, hoping that they're going to come back for you. Did that work in your childhood? Because it didn't for mine. My dad never came back. He did, but he left again. So the more that you want to reconnect after a breakup, but the reality is just because you logically understand that, you're saying, I feel emotionally attached. So then you probably should not reconnect after the breakup, because I don't actually know if you're seeing this in a way that is in a regulated eye and regulated view. And I don't mean to be a dickhead, but unless this person comes back to you and gives you very tangible steps, and so do you, right? Are you going to go back? What's changed for you? What's going to be different? How will anything be different? Okay, how do you know if someone can truly meet your needs? There's a lot of push and pull dynamic in my situation, and I don't know if there's a way to get around that or if I have to just be secure. Babe, if you're dealing with a lot of hot and cold, let me ask you this. How much of it is in your control to change, and how much is it also the other person? So you're asking me, how do you know if someone can actually meet your needs? Have you expressed them? What happens when you talk to this person and express your needs? What happens when you tell them what your needs are? That's part of the month 2 that we have in the program. That's why we're doing it. Of like, how are we communicating? Are we actually able to say, does this person are they able to hold you? Can they be there for you? Can they create the safe space that you also need? Are you doing that for yourself? Are you doing that for them? Because if you're having a push-pull, then I can't imagine that dynamic feels very safe. All right? How to understand the difference between performing and being nice and care. How do you stop yourself from thinking about doing nice things for others? What's the difference? Because we have to look and say, am I being hurtful or harmful, right? Empathy without boundaries is just bullshit. And they're like, oh, I'm just being nice and I'm just trying and I'm just trying to be there. And it's like, yeah, but is this person caring about you? Is this person holding space for you? Because we're doing these nice things. So let me ask you this. What are you hoping is going to happen? You're holding the space for them. Are you doing this? If they ran me over with a car, I'd still be okay with it? Or are you hoping that this person is going to choose you and change and act different and do? Because that's where we look and say, well, then I'm being nice to this person because I'm hoping I get something from it. Because if it was genuinely from the goodness of your heart and you expected absolutely nothing, you wouldn't be disappointed if it didn't work out, right? Because you're doing it selflessly. So we have to start to look and say, where did I learn that? Again, that's part of the whole month 1 of understanding. Where did I learn this from? Who taught me that my needs don't matter, that I need to self-abandon to take care of somebody else? Who taught me? My mama taught me that being a people pleaser was safety. That was the way that I was going to get people to like me, is that if I just do everything for them. And then I had to learn that boundaries were really, really important. Boundaries were crucial. Boundaries are a way that you help keep people in your life, not how you keep people out of it. And so I want you to start to ask, am I being hurtful? All right. Am I hurting their feelings by saying, sorry, I can't pick you up? I have other plans. Or am I being harmful? Am I harming myself or other people in the choices that I'm making? Might be an interesting place to check and get curious. All right. Will this program help if you're still healing from a friendship breakup and need to rebuild yourself after a very hurtful betrayal? 100%. 100%. This isn't just relationship. This is not just relationships. And somebody had asked, do you work with LGBT? 100%, baby. Love is love. That's why I say everything is they. Everything is they in my terminology. Not that everything is they, but you know what I'm saying? I speak in they because I have 50% male clients. It's not just women that I work with. I think love is love, and I think every single person can learn and grow and evolve. And I do believe change is possible. It doesn't really matter what your gender or pronouns are. As long as you understand that when I say personal experiences about men that I date, that's why I'm saying it, because I've only ever dated men. So far. All right, let's see. How do you feel on the idea of giving chances? All of the first mistakes made by my ex, I attributed to a learning curve. Is there a learning curve in the early stages of a relationship? Yes, and, right? I think that the whole thing is, though, we have to start to understand the difference. That's what the nervous system work is about, is that are you giving chances, or are you just not seeing the red flags because you don't want to acknowledge them, because you're hoping and saying that there's nothing else? Right? I had my client this morning and we were talking about that. And he said, well, I kept giving chances and I was understanding and I was understanding. I said, first of all, were you understanding because you were hoping people would be understanding about you and you were just trying to replicate that? And second of all, you're giving chances to what? To somebody that doesn't have the bandwidth, to somebody that is showing you very clearly that they don't have what it is that you need or want in a relationship, so then what are you trying so hard? What are you giving this person? And of course, there's a learning stage. Of course, this is the first time you're doing a lot of this. So it's going to be, you have to remember, it's the first time you are this version of yourself. Show yourself some compassion and grace. But the learning curve also comes in to understanding, what am I accepting that I no longer am willing to? What am I accepting that I used to? Sorry. Oh, she's... sorry, my question box popped up and out. Sorry, y'all. I was trying to answer questions while I was looking at that. Okay. Let's see. Will the course help people who have trust issues? Absolutely, because we need to start to understand where you learn that you can't trust people. That's super fucking important. Will this program help me out of my anxious attachment style and recognize avoidance before I get involved with them? You know what the program's going to help you? To let go of that shit. To let go of the terminology and the verbiage and I'm this and they're this and I'm this and they're this. That's not helping you. That's not helping you. Attachment styles are for you to understand yourself. If you have a pattern, which is what it sounds like, it's not about recognizing avoidance before you get involved with them. It's about taking up space and seeing if this person has the bandwidth for it. My partner is avoidant. He's not a bad person. That just means that he shuts down when he gets flooded. And that's what I mean by, like, we have to understand the terminology. I have an entire podcast series on this if you want to learn more. But it's less about how do I avoid that and more about how do I trust myself to determine if this works for me or not. It's a big reframe that I think we need to have. And that's the point of this, is to give you the tools so that you guys can be able to say, does this work for me or not? Okay, how do you get started with trying to date? I've dated one person for 11 years and I found out that they'd been cheating on me for a year. I'm starting from ground zero. That's why I love the program, because it gives you a lot. I think here's the thing. Here's the reality. How do you get started trying to date? Maybe put yourself on an app and get out there. It's like training wheels, right? I understand that. It's like saying, like, how do I start working out? I've never gone to the gym. And you're like, you look online, you get a program and you go. Maybe you start with an online community. And so maybe if you're trying to date, it's like maybe download the apps and just get your feet wet. Dip your toes and see if you like how you feel about the environment. Start to notice. Again, that's why it's really important to have some tools that you can go back to understand your patterns and where you're coming from, right? That's what's important. That's why I'm doing all of this, is to give you the tools that you need so that as you go out and date, you know what it is that you're looking for. You know what you used to accept that you're no longer willing to, and you know what it is that you actually need, not just want. How do I know if I'm stopping in my tracks to try to break the loop or if I'm overanalyzing the situation from an anxious mindset? I have to understand the question a little bit more. I guess what I don't understand the question is because if you're over analyzing the situation from an anxious mindset, then you're not actually stopping yourself and breaking the loop, because you're acknowledging and saying, because is it a pattern, right? Are you doing what you always do? Am I overthinking? Am I creating meaning from something that is not actually there, right? That's what we have to look at. And so that's why I'm saying I don't really understand the question, because if you're overanalyzing the situation from an anxious mindset, then there will be urgency. There's not clarity. There will be an insecurity, not an understanding of yourself. And so I think then we have to look at is, do we understand what our anxious mind and brain is telling us, and then what the difference is between the way that we want to actually believe and think. Because your anxious brain is also going to discredit you, put you down, right? So then that's not coming from trying to break the loops and the patterns. Breaking the loop is implementing new behavior. I think that's the key here. I finally become more attracted to people who are calm, intentional, and put in mutual effort, but then they end things after months of consistency and they're chasing a high. Am I missing signs? Here's also another reality that's a little shitty to hear. You could do everything right and it still doesn't work. Right. And I think that's the reality too, is that like maybe they are calm and intentional. And maybe it's also about like, here's the thing. I don't know what conversations you guys are having. I don't know what the dates are looking like. I don't know how long this is, but months of consistency. And then you find out they're chasing a high, then there's a disconnect. Because then what is consistency to you? That they text you every time at the same time? Like, what kind of conversations are you having? Are you talking about what are we? Not what are we, but like, how are you feeling about this dynamic? Are you enjoying what we're doing? Like, being intentional also means having intentional conversations, touching base, checking in, and showing up in different ways. That's why I'm saying there's a bit of nuance missing that I can't really help fully without understanding the situation. Exhausted of the dating apps, trying to attract in person, but I get confused from mixed signals that I don't even know how to approach or try to freeze and wait for them to approach what to do. Here's the problem. You're asking me what to do. And that's the issue. If you're going to ask me what to do, then that means you're constantly going to be externally looking for other people to tell you how to behave. I understand that you're exhausted from the dating app. So maybe the first thing is we take a break until we need it, right? But that's the thing is like, you want to have your cake and eat it too. And I mean this with love. You're saying I'm exhausted from the dating apps, but then in person's really tough. And it's like, okay, so then what are the options here? So then I think the options here are like, we have to start to look and say, how am I showing up? What am I thinking is going to happen? Am I fetishizing going out? Am I okay being rejected? Because that's the other side of the coin. Fine, you don't want to use dating apps, you don't have to. But then going out in person means you got to be okay being rejected. I used to go to the gym and hit on guys. And when they rejected me, I'd have to lick my wounds and walk away and be like, well, it's part of it. I put myself out there. That's what's going to happen. So that's also part of the program that I created, is to be okay with rejection, to be okay with being with you. Because if you don't even have a baseline of that, then it's going to be really tough. And it's because then I would say, even, what importance are you putting a relationship in your life? That this is the end all be all, that this is going to somehow save and change and fix? Oh, baby, I can promise you it's not. And a relationship's in addition to your life, not instead of. So anything, if you told me that something was exhausting you, my response would be, then maybe we need to take a break from it and reassess some things. That's why I have the program. I can't lie, I just have very bad past experiences that made me feel unattractive and like I'm not good enough. How do I fix that? Surely I just need to be in a relationship and it'll get better. No, that's the thing is, so what you're expecting that what the reasons that you've what all of a sudden you're just going to find somebody that's going to just make you feel really great and that's going to make it all go away. Good luck receiving that. Good luck receiving that when what your core beliefs are is that I'm not pretty and worthy and good enough and all of these things. But I just need to be in a relationship and then I'll just make this all go away. It's only going to heighten your insecurities. So if you want, again, that's why I was saying in the first month. The first month is understanding, where did I learn this from? Because what's happening is you're projecting your past experiences and your salience network is now looking. Let me look and let me find someone that's going to do this for me. It's subconscious. And again, it's not about, you're not fixing anything because you're not broken. What we need to understand is, where did I learn this from and how can I support myself and be there for myself? How can I change that? How can I reframe that? How do I talk to myself? And what is the love I'm giving to myself that I'm expecting from other people? How do I know if I'm avoiding dating because I truly feel that I'm not ready, or if it's a fear taking over? I want so badly to move forward, but at the same time, I don't want to show up unavailable. I think then we need to look and say, kind of back to the first question that I had answered, as about, one, you're avoiding it because, but here's the thing. I think it's a mix of both. I think you're avoiding dating because you're scared, your fear is taking over that you're not ready, right? So do you see which comes first, the chicken or the egg? If you're not ready, then we need to start to understand and quantify, what does that mean? What do you mean you're not ready? But it's the same, but then you probably have a fear that you're not ready, that you're scared of something happening. You're going to hurt somebody else. So you see what I mean? But I think we kind of need to reverse engineer it. I totally get it, right? That's why if he wanted to, he would. Doesn't make any sense. You want so badly to move forward. I totally get that. I don't discredit that and I don't doubt that. But do you have the tools to do this? Your nervous system feel capable to do that? Because otherwise it's going to be an uphill battle, baby. All right, let's answer another couple and then we'll hop off. What are some good habits to replace talking to someone you have to let go of because you're not valued? That you need to go through a withdrawal. And so maybe here's the reality. Maybe some good habits are sitting with yourself, journaling, being uncomfortable, getting curious about what that person replaced. What are you scared of happening if you don't have somebody to talk to? What part in your life did this person serve? Was it a validation? Was it a dopamine addiction loop? Because you're going to have to go through a withdrawal. That's part of it, baby. And I know it sucks and nobody wants to have to go through it, but that's also part of being able to move on. And so some good habits might be, how do I talk to myself? Maybe going to a workout class, to going to a pottery class, to doing something where you're in a community of other people. That's also why I created the program, to give you a community so that you have somewhere you can go to. You don't feel alone, that you have the tools that you need to be able to go in and tap in and say, wait a minute, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I'm not scared of what's to come because I'm here. Okay, when your partner can verbally tell you the emotional connection is too much and wants to run, do we give up or let them take time to heal and reflect? I think maybe, why does the pendulum have to swing? So it's either give up and go, then walk away, or just let them. So maybe what you do is you have a conversation and say, then how are we going to be in this relationship? If this emotional connection is too deep and you want to run, what are you doing to change that? What are you doing to stay present? What are you doing to show up differently? Because I'm here trying to express myself. Because then if they say, well, right, are they in therapy? Are they talking to somebody? Are they doing anything? Because you think I would still be with Ryan if he got overwhelmed and every time he wanted to run or shut down, I was just like, well, okay, I guess that's all right. Because you're saying, do we give them time to heal and reflect? But what are they doing with that time? You're assuming that they're healing and reflecting. What are they doing with it? That's the important question I want to ask. All right, what's the difference between being exclusive and boyfriend-girlfriend? Stemming from when you and Ryan asked you and you weren't ready to be exclusive. Totally. So exclusive just means you're not dating other people. That's all. So when we're exclusive means, hey, I'm not dating 20 other people. I'm not on the apps anymore. I want to focus on you. Relationship is, okay, now I know I want to build something with this person, right? That's why I suggest, well, I knew I liked Ryan. I was like, okay, I'm down to not date other people, but I didn't know if this was enough of a connection for us to be in a relationship with each other because I needed to see him in other environments. I needed to see him in different conversations. I needed to see him in different parts of life and in the way he showed up to determine, do I want to then say I'm in a relationship and that there's no one else, right? Because exclusive, I could still bop out and go, okay, all right, well, I'm going to get back out into dating. I don't think this is not working for me. I can't build a life with someone like this. But with a lot of folks, they jump right in and they go into 100 of like, oh, okay, well, they're cool. Okay, cool. Then I'm just going to do it. But you don't know this person that well. And so maybe being exclusive, not having any other distractions will allow you to see how they are in different environments. Then you could decide if this is someone you want to build a life with. How do I reframe asking if someone is emotionally available and what signs can I look for? Okay, here's a reality. You're asking if someone's emotionally available. Let me ask you, can you define that? Most people can't. Most people are terrible at self-identification. So you're asking if they're emotionally available. Instead of asking if they're emotionally available, because most people are going to be like, yeah, of course, duh. Then maybe what it is that you start to have deeper conversations to see if they can meet you there, to see how they handle what it is that you, and this is why in the course I created how to actually be able to identify if they're emotionally available. It's not because you're asking. It's because you're seeing how they handle situations. You're seeing how they show up for you. You're seeing the space that they hold for you. And that's what's really important. So don't forget that. All right, babes, that's it. We've been here together for 90 minutes. We did it! We closed the loop. My friends, do not forget, join the program. This is the cheapest you're ever going to see it. So if you want to do it, now is the time. And if not, I wish you the best. And I am so grateful that you were here with me. And I'm so excited that I got to share a new thing that I'm doing because it means a lot, right? Look at all the questions you guys are asking. These are why we have the community and the container, and why we are able to do this together is because now you have a place to do it. It's not just ethereal anymore. You're not just listening to the podcast and going, now what the fuck do I do with this? Now we have a place to close the loop together. And so today you get to decide if you want to do this with me, fuck yeah, apply and let's go. And if not, that's okay too. I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in me and for giving me the space to share with you all of these exciting things that I was doing. And I'm so fucking excited. So I can't wait to see everybody on March 9th. I hope you guys join. I'm so excited. Will we do this again? I don't know. I have my book coming out this year, so we'll see. But I'm excited and I'm really stoked and I'm just grateful for you guys. So thank you. And guys, until next time, my baby.